Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 57 of a year of change. Today we are starting week 9. We have now finished a complete 2-month cycle. We've done 8 weeks already. Those are over and done with. We've sort of gradually started our food changes and adding water and fruits and vegetables and in general eating a lot healthier than we were 2 months ago. So today is the day that we've been talking about for a very, very long time, where we're finally going to start adding exercise into the mix. Now, as promised, this is not going to be anything major. Don't get scared. You're not going to get too tired or run down or discouraged or anything else. It's going to be something very minimal. Before I actually start in on that, though, I should mention that yesterday's video I had said that, if I ever do go over, then it's going to be because of liquids, because I'll go out with friends and I'll end up having a drink or whatever it is. After I recorded that, posted it, everything was done, my day was done, I was ready for bed and everything else, and I had some friends invite me out, and I ended up going out, and I went over. I went over my allotted calories for the day, but again, just as predicted, by having a few drinks. So I didn't go way, way over, but enough. I went over, so that's pretty much all it counts for. Plus, I had a marshmallow and a handful of chips, which I didn't actually record in my MyFitnessPal. So now that I think about it, I didn't record that one. Oops, sorry. But again, I went over at least 400 calories. So add the marshmallow, which is probably, and then a handful of chips, which would be another. So when you add all those together, it comes to a total of 400 plus. So I went over that much. Not sure what the math is there. Not going to really get into it. But then it's not, I didn't feel quite as bad because I thought, did I sort of undo some work? And I thought, no, I've been doing the treadmill. Everything's good. And then Sunday, today, when I got up and did my weigh-in and everything, I thought, okay, I still made progress. So I'm okay. So don't feel too bad. Except I then thought, I'm going to have a really big breakfast, which I did a couple of weeks ago and it didn't go well. And today, so far, I had breakfast a few hours ago, and I'm still just, I don't feel the same way I've been feeling for the past few weeks. So you think I would have learned from the first time, and I'm gonna have to offset some of it with my treadmill as well, because it was a big breakfast, bacon and eggs and toast and all the good stuff, and it just sitting there not pleasant at all. So, I think hopefully it's going to curb me from doing that again. It probably won't for the next little while, but I used to eat like that every single day for every single meal. So at least I know that I am progressing that way. And I just don't feel well after doing it. So hopefully you'll feel better after my treadmill. I usually do anyway. So, which sort of leads us right back into the exercise. Now, the exercise that we're going to start in on isn't going to be the same thing that I'm doing right now because it's taken me a long time to get to where I am now. And although I've only sort of gone back into walking in the past couple of weeks, I used to walk all the time. So it's not like a new, strange exercise for me. Years ago, I used to... Oh, crazy neighbor screaming. I used to walk all the time. That's what I would do for my hobby. I didn't have a computer, I didn't have a TV, didn't have anything like that. So me and friends would just sort of go and grab a coffee and go for a walk. When I was growing up, we had 2 levels to my house and there were 14 or 15 stairs. And so I was constantly going up and down the stairs. So, and even after I bought my treadmill for the first while, I had gradually over a period of months gotten up to a point where I was doing 5 kilometers a day. So getting back into it was fairly easy. I just sort of started at 1 kilometer, which is about 15 minutes. And then over the past couple of weeks, I've gradually increased it. So I'm not running any faster or any harder or anything like that. I'm just taking more time. And a 15-minute walk is really not a lot for me. So I'm up to 3 kilometers now, which is only about 45 minutes. And my goal eventually is to get to the 5-kilometer mark and then increase the speed and increase the incline and all that other good stuff. But you won't be doing that stuff. It's not going to be anything that labor-intensive for the moment. When we're starting this out, where we're just sort of gradually getting things added in. I want to keep in mind that there are going to be a lot of us out there that have never exercised. In the same way that we did the food changes for people who have never had a vegetable or never bothered drinking just water or maybe have always just had junk food around, I want to do the same thing with this. So what I want to do is during the gradual, how would I put it? The phasing in, introduction, there we go, the introduction of exercise over the next few weeks. It's going to be a few weeks before any of you get to a point where, well, I mean, you might get there, but not from me instructing you. Getting to a point where I am right now, just because I don't want to say, okay, starting now, you're doing an hour of exercise every day, because you're not going to stick with it. You're going to get frustrated, you're going to get discouraged, and you're just going to want to quit. So what we'll do, we'll start things off super, super easy. And all it is for this week, I mean, we've done our food changes, so those are pretty much all done, so we won't really be doing any more of those. But for this week, when we're starting in the exercise, all you need to do is during these videos, when you're watching them, don't stay stagnant. And that's it. Some of you may already be doing this. Maybe this plays in the background when you're, folding your laundry or you're, doing something. But all that you need to do is during these, whether they're 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever the time frame is, whenever you're watching one of these, you just can't stay in one spot. You need to get up and do something. And that can be something as simple as, getting up, straightening up the room that you're in when you're listening to it, or maybe just even wandering around the room. If that's not an option for you, if you can't walk, then do something with your arms. Grab your cat and do arm exercises or move around somehow. And if you can't do that, then I'm not sure what you can do at that point. If you're sort of stuck in a position where you can't move your arms or your legs, you can move your head, I suppose. I'm not sure. But the main thing is that just as you're watching these, you need to be doing something physical. It doesn't have to be strenuous. You don't have to break a sweat. You don't have to do anything, even if it's just slowly sort of wandering around your room while you're watching this. And the main reason for this, because I know some of you are like, that doesn't make any sense. You're not doing anything. You need to get your heart going and you need to exercise. That's going to come in time. We still have another 10 months to do this. That will come in time as the weeks progress. Right now, just like the very first week when we did with the food, where we were tracking it, but we weren't accounting for it, that if you went over, then you went over. It didn't matter. It was just to sort of get into the pattern of tracking your food every day. That's what this is. This is just sort of getting you into the pattern of doing something physical that you normally wouldn't be doing. And that's why I want to keep it very simple, very easy, and something that pretty much everyone's going to be able to do. So as long as you move and do something from the beginning to end of these videos during the week, we'll get to the point where you have, one day where you do exercise, and then that'll get bumped up to 2 days a week, and then 3 days a week, and then, eventually maybe 5 days. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point, just for the fact that, you do need to rest in between them. And right now I'm doing 3 days a week, and I'm probably going to stay there for a long, long time. If it ever gets to a point when you're training for a decathlon or something, then yeah, 5 or 6 days a week, you're probably going to want to do it. But for right now, let's sort of keep things realistic for us. And right now, although technically it's going to be 7 days a week, it's going to be something very simple. And like I say, some of you may already be doing this, that when you watch these, maybe this is the opportunity that you take to clean up around your computer room. Or if you're, listening to it in the car or something, oddly enough, I don't know why. You could, I suppose, if you saved it and then listened to it in your car somewhere along the way. That's going to cause a problem. You won't be able to do much there. Because you need to keep your eyes on the road. Why are you even watching a video in the car? It's ridiculous. Stop it. Anyway, moving on. So whatever you decide to do, some physical activity, you have to do something while you're watching the videos. And it can be something very, very simple, very, very easy to get into. It doesn't have to be something. You don't actually have to technically do exercise. You just need to be in motion somehow. And like I say, the main reason for that is because I want to get us into a pattern that we're used to doing it. And although many of you are going to be doing that already, there's a large number of us out there that just wouldn't be. That if we're watching something, we sit. And for many of us, when we watch something, we sit and we eat. So if we get to this stage where it becomes sort of part of your routine, that you put on one of these videos and you wander around your room or take that time to straighten up or whatever you're doing, then that will sort of get into that same pattern where at least we're doing something, we're a little bit more active. And although it doesn't seem like much, I mean, you're going to burn, 10 calories maybe doing it? It's still better than doing nothing, which is what we've been doing for now. So that's what, just like all the food changes that we've been doing with these exercises, that's what I want to start getting into with this, is that as small and insignificant as it may be, it's still better than what we're doing right now. And we have made progress, though. We've changed the way that we eat. We changed what we drink. We've just, at the very least, become much more aware of what we're putting inside of our bodies. And so now it's going to get to a point where we're just going to very slowly get somewhere that we're doing something. Not every day necessarily, but we're doing more than we are right now. Because, as we've discussed before, it's really just sort of a matter of numbers, like calories going in and calories coming out. So the calories going in, we have those pretty much down pat at this stage. We're tracking everything. We know what we're eating. Calories going out, we haven't really tracked those because you expend them as you go throughout the day. But we know how much that we need to maintain, we need to stay under a certain number in order to start losing. And this is going to start helping with that as well. Now, there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to track just those little 15-minute windows, unless you're doing something that you know what the outcome is. On a treadmill, it's a bit different because I can measure the speed, I can measure the time, I can measure everything that I'm doing, and it gives me a rough estimate as to how many calories I'm burning. With this, though, especially for the first week, we aren't going to know, so it's not going to be something that you're going to be able to track. As things progress, and you're going to be able to start doing more and more, then yes, you're going to want to start tracking that. And when it goes into MyFitnessPal, then it's going to sort of take away from the calories from the day because you're going to burn those off. And then we need to start getting into whether or not you need to still meet that number, or if you're going to decide to say, no, I'm going to have those extra calories as just extra calories that are burned off. And you'll find, I have anyway, that it switches from day to day. There are going to be some days that you're still going to, like me, you're still going to go over, even though you've done some exercise. And then there are other days that you're going to be way, way, way under. And there is going to be, it's going to be a little bit of time before you find that balance, because we don't want to just only be eating 1,000 calories and then exercising another 1,000 calories so that we're just at zero all the time, because that's not any healthier than what we're doing now. But it will get to a stage as the weeks progress. We'll get more familiar with it. We'll start learning a little bit more about it, and we'll be a little more educated than we are now, that you'll be able to track it accurately and determine what you're going to be able to do to make the most out of it. But that's it. That's all the change that we're going to be doing this week. So you don't need to do it today. I'll be doing the same thing. I'm going to keep on with my treadmill. I'm going to try to increase it this week as well, so that it's not just me staying stagnant as well. Because you could say, well, we're doing something new. Why aren't you doing something new? You're just doing exactly what you've done. And in another week, my shift is probably going to be changing. So I'm going to have to make another change. And at that stage, probably going to be forced to go up the hill. The dreaded hill that I've been talking so much about. So, and I think after that first week, once I get to that 5 kilometer mark, then it'll be a little easier for me to get up there anyway. I had contemplated doing it this week, sort of, where you're starting the exercise. It's going to be something new and different for you, that I should probably do the same. But I'm still working on the treadmill thing, and I have Monday off. So it's only really a 4-day thing, which actually is more of an argument for... Tell you what, here's what we're going to do, just so that you're not alone in this. Where you're starting up something new... I think I may have just swallowed a bug. Where you're starting up something new, even though it's something very small and calorie-wise insignificant for all of us, I don't think you should do this alone. So, on top of what I'm doing with my treadmill, we aren't going to count that. I have Monday off, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I will park on the hill for you guys. And it's not much because it's just going to be the walk back up after work. So, which for me is about a 10-minute walk. But at least that way, there's something there. You're not alone in this. You're not just sort of starting something and saying, well, you've already been doing it. It's not the same. So I will go up. I will park on top of the hill, and I will take some pictures if I can, and just show you how steep it is, and how horrible it is. But again, this is something that we should all be going through together. So I don't really think it's fair that I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and gradually increase and things like that. And for some of you, I mean, you might be in the same boat where you do work, like move around or clean things up or whatever you do when you're watching these. But there are going to be some of you that are going to be starting this that haven't exercised in forever. So for those of you out there that are starting something new, I'm going to be in there with you. I will park on the hill this week, I promise. Except for Monday, because I have Monday off. So tomorrow, not going to be parking, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I will be up there. So I will let you know, I guess the first day that you'll know whether or not, I shit myself on the way up the hill will be Wednesday. So there's going to be a bit of a delay, but I'll probably post some stuff on Twitter at least just to show you where I'm parked and, the steep hill and all the horrible things that go along with it. But at least that way you're not going to be alone. So we will get through this together. We've started it out 2 months ago, doing this together. We're going to keep doing this as things progress, and by the end of the year, we'll all get to where we need to be. At least on the right road to where we need to be. But for right now, that's it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.